Well, absolutely, Desiree. So that's a very key issue because we do know, because of the geopolitical shifts, this conflict, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, has really realigned the geopolitics, but also far-reaching implications for quite a number of countries, of course, including South Africa itself. But a very important issue as well is that we do know that South Africa is currently a BRICS chairperson, and during the course of this year, South Africa is going to have this particular summit where a number of the leaders of BRICS will be descending to our shores. But a very important relationship between Russia and South Africa. But Desiree, of course, we do have our own international international editor here, the SABC, Sophie Mokoena. So, Sophie, just before I let you go, I know that we're about to go for a media briefing. The significance of today, how important is this visit by Minister Lavrov?
It is very important because you know very well that the relationship between South Africa and Russia are very sound. But last year, particularly after the war in Ukraine, South Africa has been under pressure to speak out or to call out Russia in terms of the decision that was taken by Moscow to move to Ukraine and invade Ukraine. And therefore, it was expected that South Africa, as a mature democracy, South Africa will be hard on Russia. But South Africa decided that in line with its own policy, where you stand firm in terms of ensuring peace and security in your country, in the SADC region, on the continent, and around the world, they took a more reconciliatory or a more stand that will assist in bringing these two countries together to talk. And today, Minister Naledi Pandor emphasized that South Africa wants to see the two countries engaging in a peace process. And it was quite refreshing to hear Lavrov saying that they really agree with South Africa that negotiations are the only solution to this problem, and therefore almost very diplomatic, contrary to his more radical stand when he's addressing the media in Russia. And therefore, I think this visit will strengthen the political relations, trade relations, but also at global level, this visit is likely to assist in trying to bring together the two parties, perhaps under the mediation of Turkey. And you know that the Foreign Affairs Minister of Turkey was in South Africa, and that issue was also discussed, the war in Ukraine.
And just briefly, Sophie, the issue of the United Nations Security Council, Minister Lavrov coming in support, once again, of South Africa's stance around the transformation, the seats for the continent.
Well, this is not new. Russia has been supporting Africa in particular to be in the Security Council, because when you look at the agenda of the Security Council, most of the countries that are being discussed and the conflicts are on the continent. Yes, right now you have this war in Ukraine, but the agenda is mostly dominated by what's happening on the continent. And therefore, the formation of the United Nations, the aim was to ensure that you maintain peace after the Second World War. Well, at that time, Africa was not fighting, even though some countries did participate in the Second World War, and we were excluded. And later, because of the sanctions, South Africa was kind of isolated, and the country couldn't participate in these global fora and all of that. Now that we are back with a democratic dispensation, South Africa is playing a very critical role in the southern region on the continent to ensure that the voice of Africa is heard in all these multilateral organizations. And you heard the minister talking about South Africa subscribing and supporting and is committed to multilateralism. And Russia, it's not the first time. They've done it before during Begi's time. They've said it during Zuma's time, and now under Cyril Ramaphosa, the three leaders, the two who led South Africa, got that assurance from Russia previously that they will support South Africa's position or a quest to be in the Security Council. They are doing it now with the sitting president, Cyril Ramaphosa. So this is not new.
All right. Sophie, thank you so much indeed for that. So, Desiree, quite a lot of issues, of course, expected to be explored by the two ministers. But shortly now, there will be a media briefing just to give us comprehensively more just nitty-gritty in terms of the negotiations.